I was 7 years old when my parents got divorced. My dad had multiple affairs on my mom. He ended up moving his mistress and her daughter into our old childhood home, and the daughter ended up moving into my old room. So my mom instantly became a single mom of 3 kids. There were no job opportunities in Oklahoma, so we literally packed up the car and moved to Dallas. My mom had to launch out and find a new job, place to live. First place she chose was roach-infested apartments, but that was all that we could afford at the time. Even though my mom was working multiple jobs, it was still a struggle. I remember numerous times our car breaking down on the side of the highway and people cussing us out, driving by, nobody offering to help. I remember running out of gas numerous times. I remember just not having lunch money for school and having to go into the office and get an IOU. I remember the lady yelling at me and telling me not to come back in. I remember one Thanksgiving, us not even having any money for food, so I remember my mom getting on a list in a local church, brought by Thanksgiving dinner for us and set it on our front porch. And I remember coming home and it was like a Christmas present almost, because we were just excited that we had food to eat. When I was 14 years old, I got tired of seeing the struggle and my mom struggling so much that I went and got my first job. I lied about my age, told them I was 16, and my first job was at Jack in the Box, and it just made me feel really good to be able to contribute and help my mom pay the bills. So in a normal divorce situation, they would share custody, but my dad had no interest in that. He had his new family, and I've pretty much seen him one time since I was 7. Holidays, birthdays, no phone calls. I would send him my school pictures and he wouldn't respond. I think he was just interested in his new life and he wanted nothing to do with this. So I hated my father as I was growing up, and I didn't trust men in general. I would write him letters and he would never respond, and I was pretty angry, and I was pretty honest and truthful to him. And I would say things like, when my friends ask me who my father is, what do you want me to tell them? But I never got a response. So this caused me to really not trust men. And so when I was in relationships, I would just keep everybody at arm's length. I didn't trust anyone, and never really planned on getting married, because if it was going to turn out like my parents' relationship, then I wasn't interested. I did get married. Every little girl's dream is to have their dad walk them down the aisle, and my dad, of course, wasn't there. So both of my brothers ended up walking me down the aisle. So to this day, my dad has never met my husband or my daughter. It's crazy to me that this is my dad and I've only seen him once in the last 30 years. So just over the years, I've really struggled with hatred for my dad. I've just really struggled with bitterness and unforgiveness. Through my teenage years, it was really tough. Those were, I feel like, the years that I needed him the most, and he wasn't there. As a young adult, as I grew in my faith, I realized that the Lord was really tugging at my heart to forgive my dad, and I didn't want to forgive him, but the Lord just really began working on my heart, and I realized I didn't want to carry this bitterness and unforgiveness in my life, and the Lord began to soften my heart, and I actually began to pray for him, and that's, I believe, what helped me and heal my heart, because it turned to, instead of hating him, that I really realized it was him and not me, and it was his heart that was hardened, and that I needed to pray for him. And not that what he did was okay, but God was commanding me to forgive him. And it's not that I don't struggle sometimes when things arise, or I hear a song about a father and a daughter, or I see my husband with my daughter, and it just kind of triggers those emotions, but I've truly forgiven him, and I know that's only through the Lord's help. I have so much joy and peace in my life right now, and I thank God that He has walked me through this journey of forgiveness.